Hey, well, there you are. Would you like to hear another story? Well, I'm going to give it to you anyway. So, back when we were all kids and I was hanging out with my big best friend, Big Ed, we were all experimenting with what's finally become legal, and that is we finally have legalized marijuana in California, and well, we were the test pilots, right? So, at my house, my dad had been very gracious in providing this nice shed alongside of the house that me and Big Ed and Bobby, Louie, and all of our friends quickly adopted as a kind of a boys' club, and turned it into our own little man cave in there. I think Bobby donated a pretty good stereo, and I don't know, and Louie probably brought in some posters and a bunch of albums, and we used to sit out there and listen to music and get pretty dang toasted. And the nice thing was is that at dinner time or something like that, Mom or Dad would just come knock on the door and they wouldn't even come in. I don't know if they knew what we were doing or not, but they would just lay low, and so it was kind of a safe environment for us to party out there in. So me and Big Ed spent a lot of time out there, and of course we had a family dog too, and the family dog liked hanging around with us because, well, there's nobody else to hang around with. And so our family dog was this real shaggy dog named Amy, who was famous for being awfully like totally fun-loving, and then he could be vicious as all heck in a turn of a if you stepped on his tail or something. So one day, me and Big Ed were out there in the shed, and we were taking bong hits, and back then we didn't have the convenience of having a Bic lighter, or if we did, Ed had probably drained all the propane out of it, making smoke rings in his hand or something like that. Whenever he had a lighter, he had to play with it. So we just had a book of matches, and we were, holding the bong in between our knees and striking the book, or striking a match and taking a bong hit, and then we'd pass it over to the next guy, and we were getting pretty toasted, and of course Jamie liked to get stoned. So whenever we went in the shed and we were taking bong hits, usually by about the fourth or fifth bong hit, he couldn't resist, and he had to get his nose right up there, and so we knew what he wanted, and we just kind of cupped his nose and gave him a second-hand bong hit, which I guess if you're about a 40-pound dog is a pretty good hit. Although he developed a tolerance after a while, I'll say that for Jamie. Anyways, so there we were, sharing bong hits and music and funny stories with the dog, me and Big Ed, probably listening to Charlie Daniels, and Ed went to strike a match, and those old paper matches. Every once in a while, the head would come flying off like a sparkler. And there was Jamie only a few feet away, looking up in anticipation of getting a bong hit. And Ed struck that match, and man, that sparkler went flying through the air, and it was like in slow motion, like a flare out of a rescue boat or something like that, flying through the air, and bing, landed right in the middle of Jamie's back. Well, Big Ed didn't see it because he was concentrating on his bong hit, and Jamie didn't see it because he was about to have stoned. But I seen it, and I was a little slow to react myself. And all of a sudden, man, the smell of burning dirty dog hair hit the room. And it was like, oh my God, Jamie's on fire. So Ed jumped out. Now remember, Ed's a giant. Ed jumped out to put out the dog and slapped him on the back too hard. And Jamie turned around and snapped at Big Ed, which caused the smoke to flare up again. So all I could do was throw the door open and let Jamie go running out. And he went out really quick. I mean, we're only talking about a little bit of smoke. But it sure seemed like a big deal at the time. And I'll tell you what, Jamie didn't have any love for Big Ed after that. That's for damn sure. I'll catch you later.